Well, hello, Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Of course, I had to jump on a new camera that has been released. Of course, that would be the Canon T4i. That's pretty interesting because the D3200 of Nikon was announced just a little bit ago as well. So Canon comes back and announces their T4i. This is obviously going to replace the T3i, and in a huge way. Now, right off the back, who is this camera for? This is still a crop sensor camera. It's not professional. You still have that 1.6 times crop. But this is for any beginner looking to get great images and great video. Now, mind you, a lot of people already know Canon is known for their video, but I think Canon really stepped up with this next step in their line, and for many reasons I'm about to tell you. So these are just my quick kind of thoughts, and just to let you know some of the specs that if you're looking to maybe starting to get into photography, you would like. Now, to kind of start off, it's not the most affordable-ish, but it's for what you're going to pay, it's pretty cool, but we'll touch upon that later. So just looking at the camera alone, I'll give you a quick look. This is what the T4i looks like. Usually the T3i and such is a more plasticky looking kind of build. It's not necessarily plastic, but it doesn't feel good in the hands. And when I've held them, it doesn't feel that well for me. But when this comes out, and it's also called the 650D, it looks awesome. It's just, it looks like it feels more comfortable, looks like the rubber's more comfortable, and your hands maybe won't slide as much. But it looks pretty cool. So I definitely, it's like, it's the more stylish build that has been put into this, and I feel like it's just going to feel great, and especially I just showed you with a battery grip, it's going to feel spectacular in the hands, very ergonomically correct. So as I said, what are you getting with this besides just now a decent, more I think it looks more professional than the T2i or the T3i does. Definitely bulkier. Now, as I said, besides the better build, you're still getting 18 megapixels, which is fantastic, especially starting out. You guys don't have to worry about that if you're looking into a camera per se. It's not about the megapixels. Just use your eye. What are the huge things that are integrated within this camera? Well, one of the biggest things is its processor, which is great because it's going to improve a lot. It's not a new processor. It's not something that just came on the market. It's the Digic 5, which is replacing the 4 that the 3i had in it. So what is that? Why is the processor important? For many things, it's going to help with noise reduction. It's definitely going to help more with low light. And with a couple of the scenes that it added, still not a fan of an HDR thing. But the HDR is added in there. They're saying the auto mode, which I hope a lot of you guys are shooting manual. I'm sure a lot of people watching this one are. But if you're just coming into photography, I guess you could start off, I'd say, on program mode. But it's saying it's going to increase the auto mode and what it can give you. And it's also added a pretty cool night scene handheld thing. And I don't know, that would be interesting to test once this hits the market in late June. Now, what else are you getting with this? Now, a pretty cool thing, and I'll show you the back. Just like the T3i, it has an articulated screen, so it will flip out. Kind of like the D5100. Now, the different thing about this T4i is that it has a touch screen, which is pretty cool in itself. So it's, I think they said it's more for menu navigation and to be able to find things easier instead of, turning the circle dial on the back, which it doesn't have. But, I don't know if that is a huge feature, though. I think you can just go through the menu yourself. I'm not a huge fan of the touchscreen. It's definitely interesting. It's Canon's first one to incorporate that. But is it necessary? I don't know. Once again, it'd be interesting to find out. But as I said, if you're into, this is so more for the still side right now, you get 5 frames per second when shooting. You get 9-point autofocus, which is pretty cool, just like the T3i though. And yeah, so you do get a lot for the price. As I said, I'm going to touch upon price in a minute. But the main thing you're also buying this for is for video. As if you're mainly just looking for a stills camera, I would, as an entry-level first camera type thing, I'd say do not get this. I'd say maybe go for a T2i or maybe even a T3i, because the T3i price will plummet as soon as this comes out, as I said, at the end of this month of June. But a quick thing about Flash 2 before I forget, its sync speed is 1/200th of a second. Video mode on the T4i sounds pretty cool. I feel like it incorporates almost the same thing as the T3i. You still get the 1080p full HD video at 30 frames per second, 24, etc. And at 720, you still get the 60 frames per second, as well as 30, 24, etc., etc., etc. But the cool thing that this has over the T3i is that it has stereo input for a microphone, so you don't have to worry about getting a little converter, which are cheap anyway, but it's just, it takes the inconvenience away from having a mono input, and it still has manual aperture, shutter, ISO control right on your video mode, unlike some of the other cameras. So I feel overall this is it's an awesome camera for what it gets. It's going to look like to be a monster entry-level camera. It does kind of blow past the D30-200 in some ways, but I will kind of compare this ish to the D7000 on the Nikon side, if anything. This is now wedged between the T3i and the Canon 60D. But yeah, overall, oh, also you get 12 minutes recording time, and I think that's a minute longer than it was in the T3i, so that's also pretty cool for that. It's a decent amount of time. Now, overall, is it worth it? As I said, if you're mainly if your huge thing is video, why not? You're getting a great camera to start off. It will last you years until you step up to maybe at least a Mark II or higher. Now, as I said, it's almost I don't want to say it's a T3i knockoff, but a lot of the features are the same, obviously. It's just a little bit of the upgrades, obviously. And I'll just cycle through some photos as well. You're still getting 18 megapixels. You still get the articulated touchscreen, but the T3i did not, or you're getting the articulated screen, but the T3i did not have the touchscreen, and the ISO improvement looks like it has been better. And another main thing that Canon is saying with this camera is their autofocus system is going to be superb. So it'll be very, very interesting to see, you know, this lens as it comes out. So overall thoughts. Pretty damn cool camera, not gonna lie. The 650D T4i, I think, is a pretty cool buy. The price isn't what I thought it should be. I agree with some of the other people that I read in their blogs. I feel like it should be around $600–700, but alone for the body is $849.99 US. You can get it with the 18-55 kit lens for $950, and with the 18-135 for basically $1,200. I feel that's pretty steep for what this is giving you, because once again, you don't know how the touchscreen is going to work. You don't know if it will actually improve menu navigation, which Canon kind of was getting some crap for in earlier models. As I said, I do think it's a pretty cool camera. I think it's worth checking out, but in all honesty, on more of a budget, I'd say still look at a T3i, excuse me. Sorry about that. I'd say still look at a T3i. The price is going to go down, but maybe it's a step up from a T2i if you have one. You could probably sell it and recoup some money from that. But overall, this it's affordable, but it's not affordable. If you have a lot of money and you want a great entry-level camera, you know what? Go for the T4i. I think it's a beast, but overall, it's tough. You are getting a lot more from the T3i, especially with the Digic 5 processor, but it's a couple $100 more. I think the T3i was released for $699 or $7 or something like that. So it's not a lot more, but it's a little more. It's a tough price range, and as I said, it kind of compares to the D7000 on the Nikon side. But overall, you know, they did it at a time where Nikon just released their 3200, which stepped over their 3100, and I kind of feel that this did the same to the T3i, except the price might detract from a lot of people. So overall, this is displayed with the 18-135. Overall, I think it's pretty cool camera. The price really kind of throws me off, and I kind of want to say, look at a T3i first, possibly. Maybe go to the store, play with this camera, and see how it feels, if it's worth it. And this shows it with a battery grip. I don't know if there's one actually compatible with it. If I find that out, I'll throw that up on the screen. If not, you know, you just use the typical third-party grip. Overall, pretty cool camera for what it offers. I'm a video guy myself. I think the video kind of stayed the same, but you know what? It's going to be a better camera. It's brand new. It's something fresh. As I said, it probably feels ergonomically better. It's worth checking out, I bet. I hope to go to the store, maybe do a review on it, which would be pretty cool. As I said, it'd be the end of this month, the end of June in 2012. And as I said, it'll be released body only $850. The 18-55 lens kit for $950, and with the 18-135, $1,200. So overall, I feel like this is a pretty cool thing. It's kind of like the T3i, beefed up a little more. One of the coolest features they're saying is their autofocus speed, which would be pretty cool, and the articulated touchscreen, which is different, but you know, you never know until you try. So overall, I think that's pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts below. There's a lot obviously being talked about this. It was released at, what, 3 in the morning last night? So yeah, let me know what you think. Subscribe. You know, seems like a pretty cool camera. What do you think? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Take it easy.